In the very heart of Central Africa, where the land breathes with ancient rhythms and the horizon stretches unbroken, a rare sanctuary endures. Along Rwanda's eastern frontier, Akagera National Park emerges at first light, a living mosaic shimmering beneath the rising sun, its contours veiled in morning mist and the silhouettes of acacia trees. This is Akagera, a vast expanse of over 1,122 square kilometers, where Savannah, woodland and wetland converge in a breathtaking display of ecological diversity. Here the land is sculpted by the interplay of water and earth, each element shaping the other in a delicate perpetual dance. Akagera is a realm of striking contrasts. The gentle caress of water against parched soil marks the boundary between abundance and scarcity, where the wetland's cool embrace yields to the relentless heat of the open plains. Each transition zone is a frontier, teeming with life uniquely adapted to its shifting conditions. The park's soul lies in its wetlands, the largest protected system of its kind in Central Africa. Papyrus swamps stretch as far as the eye can see, their emerald plumes rising above mirror-like waters, sheltering a labyrinth of hidden pools and secret inlets. Unlike the endless, uniform grasslands of the Serengeti, Akagera is a patchwork of habitats, each a world unto itself. Dense woodlands give way to open grasslands, which in turn dissolve into shimmering lakes and tangled marshes. Waterways thread these realms together, sustaining a web of life as intricate as the park's geography. For decades, Akagera's landscapes bore the scars of neglect. Once the park's wild heart was silenced, its grasslands empty, its woodlands overgrown, its wetlands choked with the memory of what had been lost. The great predators vanished, their roars replaced by silence. Rhinos, once the architects of the land, were driven to local extinction. The delicate balance that had shaped Akagera for millennia teetered on the brink, its future uncertain. Yet nature is resilient. Over time, the land began to heal. Grass crept back over forgotten trails, and the first tentative signs of renewal appeared beneath the watchful gaze of the African sun. Today, Akagera is a living testament to the power of restoration. Its wetlands pulse with life. Herds of antelope gather at the water's edge, hippos wallow in the shallows, and flocks of waterbirds take flight in dazzling displays. The story of Akagera is written in the tracks pressed into the mud by returning giants, elephants, buffalo, and, once again, the elusive black rhino. Each footprint is a signature of survival, a mark of hope reclaimed. The park draws its name and its lifeblood from the Akagera River, a sinuous artery that winds along its eastern edge. This river feeds a network of lakes and swamps, its waters nourishing every corner of the park and sustaining life through the harshest seasons. In the dry season, when the sun bakes the land and water becomes scarce, the wetlands become a sanctuary. Herds of zebra, buffalo, and antelope converge at the water's edge, while crocodiles and fish thrive in the cool depths. It is this abundance of water that sets Akagera apart. The park becomes a miniature Serengeti where giraffes stride through the shallows and antelope graze against a backdrop of glimmering lakes, their movements mirrored in the tranquil surface. Here, the eternal drama of the wild unfolds. Lions stalk through tall grass, antelope scatter in bursts of speed, and vultures circle high above, all beneath the fiery glow of an African sunset. Every day, the cycle of life, death, and renewal is played out in vivid detail. Akagera's web of life is astonishingly complex. From the industrious dung beetle to the soaring fish eagle, every creature is a vital thread in the tapestry. Weaver birds stitch their nests among reeds, while small mammals scurry through the undergrowth, each playing a part in the park's intricate balance. Our journey will traverse Akagera's many faces, from the open savanna where herds roam free to the rugged hills cloaked in morning mist, and the dense forests that shelter elusive creatures. Each landscape reveals new wonders, shaped by the interplay of geography and climate. We will witness the raw power of Akagera's predators, the calculated patience of the leopard, the coordinated strength of the lion pride, and the ingenious defenses of their prey, from the vigilant gaze of buffalo to the swift reflexes of impala. Akagera is a living laboratory where ancient instincts are tested daily and the secrets of survival are written in every adaptation. Here, the chorus of frogs at dusk and the silent glide of a chameleon are as vital as the thunder of hooves. In this world, every being, from the towering elephant to the tiniest ant, plays a role in maintaining a fragile, hard-won equilibrium. The balance of Akagera is a masterpiece of nature, forged through adversity and sustained by the ceaseless interplay of its inhabitants. It is a legacy to be cherished and protected, a jewel of Central Africa shining with renewed life. Akagera National Park is a living tapestry, woven from a remarkable array of landscapes, each sculpted by ancient geological forces and shaped by the relentless rhythms of weather and time. This mosaic of habitats forms a dynamic stage where the drama of survival unfolds in countless, ever-changing ways. To traverse Akagera is to witness a continent in miniature, where the land transforms with every mile, each transition marked by subtle shifts in soil, vegetation, and the very air itself. In the north, the Kilala Plains unfurl in a vast golden sweep. Here, the grasslands are shaped by volcanic soils and seasonal fires, which maintain an open, sunlit expanse. The wind stirs the grasses in endless waves, and the air vibrates with the hum of insects and the distant calls of grazing herds. This is a landscape of exposure, where the relentless sun casts long shadows, and the only shelter comes from scattered acacias, or the towering mounds built by termites, nature's architects, whose underground chambers aerate the soil and support a web of life. Herds of zebra, impala, and topi gather in the open, their movements synchronized in a delicate dance of vigilance and opportunity. Above, vultures ride the thermals, ever watchful for the faintest sign of struggle below, a testament to the interconnectedness of predator and prey. As the plains recede, the land buckles into the Mutumba Hills, a rugged spine formed by tectonic uplift and centuries of erosion. Here, the earth reveals its ancient bones, with rocky outcrops and steep slopes cloaked in a patchwork of woodland and grass. At dawn, the hills are shrouded in mist, their peaks rising above a sea of clouds. The cool, moist air nurtures a unique assemblage of plants, wildflowers, ferns, and mosses that cling to the rocks, creating microhabitats for insects and amphibians rarely seen on the plains below. The terrain here is unforgiving, favoring the agile and the wary. Baboons scale the cliffs in search of fruit, while klipspringers, small, sure-footed antelope, leap effortlessly from rock to rock, their hooves adapted for grip on the narrowest ledges. These hills are a sanctuary for elusive creatures, servals, bushbuck, and secretive genets, whose cryptic patterns and cautious movements help them vanish into the landscape at the slightest hint of danger. Predators here must master stealth and patience, using the broken ground to their advantage. Leopards, in particular, thrive in this labyrinth, their spotted coats blending seamlessly with dappled light and shadow, while nimble antelopes seek refuge on the steepest slopes. From the highest ridges, raptors soar on rising thermals, their keen eyes scanning the valleys for movement. These vantage points reveal the park's vastness, a patchwork of habitats stretching to the horizon, each supporting its own web of life. To the south, the landscape plunges into dense acacia forests and impenetrable thickets. Here the soil is richer, and the air is heavy with the scent of leaf litter and blooming acacia flowers. The canopy above weaves a living roof, filtering sunlight into shifting patterns on the forest floor. Visibility shrinks, and the world becomes one of close encounters, where every step is muffled by thick leaf litter and the air is alive with the quiet industry of insects and spiders. This shadowy realm is a haven for the shy and the solitary. Cape bushbuck slips silently between the trees, while black rhinos browse on thorny shrubs, their movements almost imperceptible in the gloom. Even the smallest creatures, duikers, chameleons, and tree frogs, find sanctuary in this tangled world. Here, sound is subdued, and the forest comes alive at dusk. The rustle of movement may signal a foraging civet, or the cautious approach of a nocturnal predator, each step calculated to avoid detection in the dense undergrowth. In this labyrinth, predators rely on stealth and acute senses, while prey must remain ever alert, attuned to the faintest sound or scent. The balance of survival is delicate, and every encounter is shaped by the forest's complexity. The forested zone is a reservoir of biodiversity, harboring rare plants and a multitude of insects, birds, and mammals, each adapted to the unique challenges of life beneath the canopy. On the park's eastern edge, the landscape is transformed by water. The wetlands, centered on Lake Ihema, are a shimmering expanse of interconnected lakes, channels, and papyrus swamps, an ecosystem shaped by seasonal floods and the slow, patient work of sediment and plant growth. These wetlands are a world apart, where aquatic plants filter the water and provide shelter for countless species. Dragonflies dart above the surface, while fish ripple the shallows, and the air is thick with the calls of frogs and waterbirds. Life here is governed by the ebb and flow of water. Reed frogs cling to papyrus stems, and water lilies bloom in the shallows, creating floating islands that shelter young fish and invertebrates. In the dry season, the wetlands become a lifeline, drawing animals from every corner of the park. Buffalo and warthogs wade through the marshes, while antelope and monkeys gather at the water's edge, their tracks crisscrossing the muddy banks. The wetlands are ruled by giants. Hippos wallow in the shallows, and Nile crocodiles bask on sunlit banks. Bird life flourishes here. Jacanas tiptoe across lily pads, and fish eagles patrol the skies, their cries echoing across the water. Together these four landscapes, plains, hills, forests, and wetlands, form a living mosaic, each with its own geological story, ecological community, and survival strategies. Akagera is not just a park, but a microcosm of Africa's wild heart, where every corner offers a new perspective on the intricate balance of life. The Kilala Plains of Akagera National Park stretch endlessly beneath the vast African sky, a living tapestry where the drama of survival unfolds in its purest form. Here, the open grasslands offer no sanctuary. Every movement is exposed, every decision a matter of life and death. Herds graze warily, their senses finely tuned to the ever-present threat of predators. For years, the spotted hyena clan ruled these plains. Their social intelligence and relentless stamina made them formidable hunters, able to run down prey over long distances and coordinate attacks with chilling efficiency. Led by dominant matriarchs, hyenas wielded both brute force and cunning, using their bone-crushing jaws to consume every part of their kill, leaving nothing to waste in this competitive ecosystem. But in 2015, the balance shifted. The return of the lion, Africa's most iconic predator, reignited an ancient rivalry and redefined the hierarchy of power. With their reintroduction, lions reclaimed their place at the top. Their presence alone sends ripples of tension through the plains, as every animal recalibrates its strategy for survival. A single male lion, his mane bristling and muscles coiled, can weigh over 200 kilograms. His thunderous roar is both a warning and a challenge, capable of scattering a clan of hyenas and asserting dominance over the territory. Yet even the lion faces a daunting adversary, the African buffalo. These colossal herbivores graze in tight-knit herds, their sheer size and collective strength making them a formidable force. Weighing up to 900 kilograms, the buffalo's fused hornboss forms a living shield. Their reputation as the Black Death is well-earned. One charge can shatter bone, and their aggression is legendary. When threatened, the herd contracts into a living fortress, calves pressed safely at the core, adults presenting a wall of horns to any would-be attacker. To bring down a buffalo, lions must rely on flawless teamwork. Lionesses fan out, using the tall grass for cover, communicating with subtle cues as they encircle their quarry. Timing and precision are everything. The buffalo respond instantly, forming a defensive phalanx. Adults lower their heads, horns ready, while the youngest are shielded from every angle. The air crackles with tension as predator and prey size each other up. When the clash comes, it is explosive, lions darting in to isolate a weak individual, buffalo counter-attacking with thunderous charges. The outcome is never certain. A single misstep can mean death for hunter or hunted alike. Beyond these titanic battles, the plains are alive with smaller, yet equally intense rivalries. The serval, a master of stealth and agility, stalks rodents and birds in the grass, while the elusive leopard prowls the shadows, ever watchful for opportunity. Leopards, solitary and powerful, must navigate a landscape teeming with competitors. The abundance of servals means more competition for prey, forcing leopards to adapt their hunting tactics and patrol larger territories. In rare, brutal encounters, a 60-kilogram leopard may ambush a 13-kilogram serval, eliminating a rival in a swift, silent attack. The hierarchy of predators is enforced with lethal efficiency, but victory is fleeting. The scent of blood draws scavengers from miles around, and a leopard must remain vigilant, always ready to defend its hard-won meal. A lone spotted hyena, guided by an acute sense of smell, may approach, its posture bold and unyielding. The leopard faces a critical choice: risk injury in a confrontation, or surrender the kill and vanish into the grass. Often, discretion prevails. The leopard slips away, melting into the shadows, already planning its next hunt as the hyena claims the spoils. Other predators employ different strategies. The cheetah, built for speed, relies on explosive acceleration to chase down fleet-footed antelope, while wild dogs hunt in tightly coordinated packs, using relentless pursuit to exhaust their prey. The plains zebra, with its striking stripes, is a constant target. Their acute vision and group vigilance make them difficult to surprise, and their social bonds are strong. During a chase, the zebra's stripes blur into a dazzling pattern, creating confusion and making it harder for predators to single out an individual. This motion dazzle is a unique defense in the chaos of pursuit. When cornered, zebras fight back with astonishing force. A stallion's kick can shatter a predator's jaw, turning the tables in an instant and reminding all that prey can be dangerous too. Roan antelope, among the largest and most aggressive of the plains grazers, stand their ground with unwavering resolve. Their backward curving horns are weapons of precision wielded with deadly intent. When threatened, they drop to their knees, protecting their throats while slashing upward at attackers, a defensive maneuver honed by generations of survival. As dawn breaks and dusk falls, the Kalala Plains remain a crucible of raw power and strategy. Here, every day is a relentless contest, where only the most adaptable, the most cunning, and the most resilient survive. The Mutumba Hills rise like ancient sentinels above the plains, their rugged contours shrouded in mist and mystery. Here, the land itself is a labyrinth, twisting, fractured, and cloaked in shadows that stretch and shift with the sun's slow arc. In this realm, the open chase is not just difficult, it is nearly unthinkable. The dense bush and scattered boulders create a world where visibility is measured in meters, and every step is a calculated risk. The landscape demands stealth and patience. Here, predators and prey alike have evolved to become masters of concealment, their bodies and instincts honed for ambush and evasion. The leopard reigns supreme in this shadowed kingdom. Its every muscle is tuned for silence, its senses sharpened, to detect the faintest rustle or scent on the wind. Using the fractured terrain as both shield and weapon, the leopard becomes a phantom, stalking unseen, waiting for the perfect moment to strike from the cover of rocks and tangled undergrowth. Yet even for this supreme hunter, the odds are never certain. A single misstep, a shift in the wind, and the opportunity vanishes into the maze of stone and shadow. The leopard's quarry is often the klipspringer, a small, elusive antelope whose very existence is intertwined with the rocks. Every sense is attuned to danger, every movement a calculated leap between safety and peril. The klipspringer's hooves, uniquely adapted like living suction cups, allow it to bound up near vertical cliffs, vanishing into crevices where no predator can follow. In these moments, the hills themselves become an ally, sheltering the vulnerable from the relentless pursuit of the hunter. As darkness falls, the balance shifts. The night cloaks the hills in deeper secrecy, and the leopard's world expands. Its vision sharpens, its movements become even more fluid, an apparition gliding through the gloom. Under the cover of darkness, the leopard ascends into the trees, where it may find an olive baboon, vulnerable in sleep. The ambush is swift, silent, a testament to the predator's mastery of both land and canopy. But every victory is fraught with risk. The spoils of the hunt must be consumed quickly or hidden well, for the hills are alive with watchful eyes and opportunistic rivals. At dawn, the baboon troop awakens to loss. Their calls of alarm ripple through the rocky corridors, a warning and a mourning, as they gather around the site of the vanished member. United in outrage, the troop becomes a force of nature, mobbing the leopard with a fury that belies their size, driving the solitary hunter from its hard-won meal and reclaiming their territory. Even the nomadic male lions, drawn by hunger into these forbidding hills, find themselves humbled. Their size, once an advantage, becomes a hindrance among the rocks and steep slopes. Climbing with awkward determination, they risk injury to steal a leopard's hidden cache, scavenging where they cannot hunt, their power checked by the unforgiving terrain. The herbivores, too, are creatures of adaptation. The eland, largest of all antelope, moves with a grace that defies its bulk, vanishing into the labyrinth of stone and shadow. A single bull can weigh as much as a buffalo, yet its strength is matched by agility, an evolutionary marvel sculpted by the demands of this vertical world. With nimble steps, the eland traverses slopes that would defeat lesser animals, its hooves finding purchase where others would slip and fall. When threatened, it can leap 3 meters straight up, and its rear kick is a weapon formidable enough to shatter bone, a warning to any predator bold enough to give chase. For the lions, these antelope are almost untouchable. The eland's power and agility, combined with the treacherous terrain, make pursuit a dangerous gamble. The eland herd moves like a whisper through the hills, their presence revealed only by fleeting shadows, ghosts in a world of stone, forever out of reach. This elevated world is more than a battleground, it is a sanctuary. High outcrops and secret hollows offer refuge to those who know where to hide, from the smallest rodent to the most elusive antelope. When the pressure of the plains becomes too great, animals ascend into the hills, seeking respite from competition and predation. Here the air is cooler, the dangers different, and the rules rewritten. The hills harbor a hidden world, one of secretive lives and ingenious survival. Shy antelope melt into the rocks, reptiles bask in fleeting sunlight, and insects vanish at the slightest disturbance, each species carving out a niche in the mosaic of stone and shadow. Life here is a vertical ballet, a dance of predator and prey, each step dictated by the contours of the land. Every pursuit is a test of balance, strength and cunning, played out on a stage where gravity is both adversary and ally. The true masters of the Matumba Hills are those who have become one with their environment. Their bodies bear the signatures of adaptation, paws that grip, hooves that cling, pelts that vanish into the dusk. Their survival is a testament to the relentless creativity of evolution, a story written in shadows and secrets, where every life is shaped by the demands of this enigmatic, ever-changing realm. The eastern wetlands, centered around Lake Ahima, form a vast, shimmering labyrinth, a living artery that breathes life into Akagera National Park. Here, water is both sculptor and sustainer, shaping the land into a patchwork of papyrus swamps, floating islands, and deep, meandering channels. This is a realm ruled by giants, creatures whose size and strength are matched only by their mastery of the aquatic world. The hippopotamus, weighing up to 3 tons, is the undisputed master of these waters. Their immense bodies glide effortlessly beneath the surface, their skin glistening in the filtered sunlight that penetrates the reeds. By day, they gather in vast pods, their deep grunts and bellows resonating across the wetlands, a chorus that signals both territory and unity. Their iconic yawn is a formidable warning, exposing tusk-like canines that can reach 50 centimeters, tools for dominance and defense in a world where power is everything. On land, their bulk belies surprising speed. Hippos can charge at 30 kilometers per hour, their massive forms thundering across the floodplain to defend territory or return to the safety of water. As they move, hippos carve deep channels through the swamps, engineering the landscape and creating vital passageways that countless other species depend on for movement and survival. Sharing this aquatic domain is Africa's largest reptile, the Nile crocodile. These ancient predators are perfectly adapted to the wetlands' shifting moods, their armored bodies blending seamlessly with the muddy banks and floating debris. With a bite force approaching 3,700 psi, the crocodile is a master of ambush, waiting motionless for hours before exploding into action with lightning speed. A fragile truce exists between adult hippos and crocodiles, each respecting the other's power. Yet, a vulnerable hippocalf is always at risk, and the crocodile's patience is legendary. The crocodile's signature move, the death roll, is a violent spinning attack that tears apart even the largest prey, a testament to its evolutionary prowess. Despite their fearsome reputation, crocodiles reveal moments of surprising tenderness, especially during the breeding season. A mother crocodile guards her nest with unwavering vigilance. When her eggs hatch, she gently gathers her tiny offspring in her jaws, ferrying them to the water's edge, a rare glimpse of reptilian care. Concealed in the dense reeds, another formidable hunter awaits, the Central African rock python. Its cryptic coloration renders it nearly invisible among the tangled roots and shadows. Africa's largest snake, the python can exceed 5 meters in length and tip the scales at over 100 kilograms. Its muscular coils a silent threat to any creature that strays too close. A master of stealth, the python hunts by night, using heat-sensing pits to detect the faintest trace of warm-blooded prey, even in total darkness. It dispatches its victims not with venom, but with crushing force, each breathless squeeze bringing the hunt to a silent, inevitable end. Such power allows the python to consume prey as large as a young crocodile, its elastic jaws and expandable body a marvel of adaptation. In a remarkable display of maternal care, the female python coils protectively around her eggs for months, generating warmth through rhythmic shivering, a rare trait among reptiles. The wetlands are a sanctuary for countless other species. Fish schools shimmer beneath the surface, while frogs and turtles thrive in the shallows, their calls adding to the symphony of life. The elusive sitatunga, a semi-aquatic antelope, moves with ghostly grace across floating mats of vegetation. Its long, splayed hooves act like natural snowshoes, distributing its weight and allowing it to traverse the soft, unstable ground with ease. When threatened, the sitatunga vanishes beneath the surface, leaving only nostrils and eyes exposed, a master of aquatic camouflage. The waterbuck, too, relies on the wetlands for refuge. When pursued, it plunges into deep water, forcing predators to weigh the risk of a crocodile's ambush against the promise of a meal. This vibrant, life-giving wetland is a world unto itself, a dynamic sanctuary where water and wildlife are forever entwined, sustaining an astonishing diversity of life and shaping the destiny of Akagera's wild heart. In the heart of Akagera, the true architects of the savannah are not the predators but the herbivores, creatures whose daily lives quietly sculpt the land, shaping the ecosystem with every step, bite, and movement. Their influence is profound, weaving a tapestry of life that sustains the park's remarkable diversity. Towering above all, the African bush elephant is a living force of nature. Each day these giants push through dense thickets, uproot trees, and carve new trails, their immense strength transforming impenetrable bush into open pathways. Their foraging not only feeds themselves, but also clears the way for smaller animals, creating corridors of movement and opportunity. The elephant population, once nearly lost, has rebounded from a handful of rescued orphans to a thriving herd. Each generation learns from the last, passing down knowledge of hidden waterholes and ancient migration routes. Their collective memory is a living map, guiding the herd through drought and abundance alike. With every movement, elephants engineer the landscape. Their digging uncovers hidden springs, their trampling opens up the forest floor to sunlight, and their feeding habits shape the very structure of the savannah. Waterholes left behind become lifelines for countless other species during the dry season. At the heart of every herd is the matriarch, a pillar of wisdom and leadership. Her decisions, when to move, where to find water, how to avoid danger, are the result of decades of experience. The survival of the herd and the health of the landscape depend on her guidance. Alongside the elephants, the Maasai giraffe stands as a sentinel of the savannah. Their towering necks and gentle movements allow them to reach the highest branches, browsing where no other herbivore can. Introduced to Akagera to control the rampant spread of acacia, giraffes have become natural gardeners. Their selective feeding prunes the trees, preventing the savannah from closing in and maintaining the delicate balance between grassland and woodland. Their 50-centimeter tongues, tough and nimble, are perfectly adapted for plucking leaves from the most forbidding thorns. This unique adaptation allows giraffes to access a food source untouched by others, shaping the vegetation from the treetops down. By keeping the acacia in check, giraffes preserve the open vistas of the savannah, ensuring that sunlight reaches the ground and grasses flourish. Their presence is a keystone, supporting a web of life that depends on open space. The arrival of a newborn giraffe is a dramatic event. Dropping nearly 2 meters to the earth, the calf's first breath is a testament to resilience. Within minutes it must stand and run, for the savannah is a place where only the alert survive. Across the plains, other herbivores have evolved their own strategies. Each species, from the nimble impala to the sturdy buffalo, is finely tuned to the rhythms of danger and opportunity. The Cape bushbuck, for example, is a master of invisibility. Its dappled coat mimics the shifting light of the forest, allowing it to melt into the undergrowth at the first hint of threat. Its arched back and powerful legs are built for sudden, explosive movement, propelling it through tangled vegetation where few predators can follow. The eastern black rhinoceros, once lost to poaching, now roams Akagera again. Solitary and powerful, it shapes the landscape in quieter ways, browsing on tough shrubs and keeping woody plants in check. Its prehensile upper lip is a marvel of evolution, able to grasp and strip even the most stubborn leaves. Though its eyesight is poor, its senses of smell and hearing are acute, guiding it through the dense bush and helping it avoid unseen dangers. The plains zebra, with its striking stripes, is more than a symbol of the savannah. It is a pioneer grazer, venturing into tall, coarse grasses that others avoid. By consuming the tough, mature stems, zebras clear the way for more delicate grazers. Their grazing patterns create a mosaic of habitats, each supporting a different cast of species. As zebras move on, wildebeest and topi follow, feasting on the tender shoots exposed by the pioneers. This sequence of grazing ensures that the land remains productive, supporting vast herds through the changing seasons. High in the trees, vervet monkeys act as sentinels. Their sharp eyes and keen ears are always on alert, scanning for the slightest hint of danger. With a complex language of alarm calls, vervet monkeys warn the entire community of approaching predators. Each call is specific, triggering a cascade of responses. Antelopes freeze, birds take flight, and the savannah holds its breath. Together, these remarkable animals are the living engineers of Akagera. Through their daily actions, grazing, browsing, digging, and warning, they shape the land, nurture its diversity, and ensure the survival of the savannah for generations to come. Their legacy is written in every blade of grass, every open glade, and every thriving herd that calls this wild place home. The Rebirth of Akagera National Park is a testament to the resilience of nature and the power of visionary conservation. Once, these rolling savannas and shimmering lakes teemed with life, but decades of turmoil left the land scarred and silent. In the aftermath of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, Akagera's ecosystem suffered catastrophic collapse. The intricate web of life unraveled as unchecked encroachment and resource extraction stripped the park of its vitality. Wetlands dried and riverbanks eroded, while the once lush grasslands became barren, unable to support the herds that once roamed freely. The absence of keystone species triggered a cascade of ecological decline. Without apex predators and large herbivores, the balance of the ecosystem faltered. Invasive plants spread unchecked, and the soil lost its fertility, further diminishing the park's ability to recover. The disappearance of the eastern black rhino and the local extinction of lions marked the lowest ebb. Waterholes once alive with the calls of birds and the movement of antelope stood empty and silent. The park's boundaries blurred as livestock invaded, introducing disease and overgrazing that further degraded the fragile landscape. The intricate mosaic of habitats, wetlands, woodlands, and savannah was reduced to a patchwork of exhaustion. Akagera became a shadow of its former self, its ecological complexity shattered, its future hanging in the balance. But in 2010, a new chapter began. The park's restoration was set in motion by a bold, science-driven partnership. The Rwanda Development Board and African Parks joined forces, bringing together expertise in ecological management, habitat restoration, and wildlife monitoring. Their first priority was to secure the park's boundaries and restore the integrity of its habitats. Advanced monitoring systems and ecological surveys guided every decision. A state-of-the-art 120-kilometer electric fence was constructed, creating a safe haven for wildlife and allowing native vegetation to recover undisturbed. With the land protected, the slow process of ecological healing began. Grasses returned, stabilizing the soil and providing food for returning herbivores. Native trees and shrubs began to reclaim their place in the landscape. In 2015, the reintroduction of lions marked a turning point. These apex predators, carefully selected for genetic diversity, were monitored as they explored their new home, restoring a vital link in the food chain. The lions adapted quickly, establishing territories and beginning to breed. Their presence triggered a ripple effect, shaping the behavior of herbivores and restoring natural ecological processes. The return of the eastern black rhinoceros in 2017 and 2019 was another milestone. These critically endangered giants, once extinct in Rwanda, began to shape the landscape through their grazing and wallowing, creating habitats for countless other species. As the ecosystem recovered, herbivore populations rebounded. Antelope, buffalo, and giraffe returned in growing numbers, while wetlands once again echoed with the calls of fish eagles and the splash of hippos. Elephants, the park's great engineers, expanded their range, opening up woodlands and dispersing seeds. Their presence accelerated the regeneration of diverse plant communities. Wetlands, once choked with silt and invasive plants, flourished anew. Water quality improved, supporting a resurgence of aquatic life and attracting migratory birds from across the continent. Even the smallest creatures returned, termites, beetles, and pollinators, restoring the intricate cycles of decomposition and renewal that underpin a healthy ecosystem. Today, Akagera stands transformed. Its landscapes pulse with life, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, each playing a role in the park's ongoing recovery. The return of the Big Five, lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, and buffalo, has restored the park's ecological integrity, making Akagera a living laboratory for conservation success. The park's wildlife populations continue to grow, and the landscape itself is evolving, shaped by the dynamic interplay of species and the rhythms of the seasons. Akagera is now a beacon of hope, a model for ecological restoration, and a testament to what is possible when science, commitment, and nature work together. Its revival offers inspiration for protected areas across Africa and beyond. The protection of modern-day Akagera is a sophisticated operation, blending cutting-edge technology with the strength of human commitment. The park operates as a smart park, utilizing a LoRaWAN sensor network that provides real-time data from across its vast expanse. Key animals, such as the reintroduced lions and rhinos, are fitted with GPS tracking collars. This allows the management team to monitor their movements, understand their behavior, and deploy anti-poaching units with pinpoint accuracy if an animal wanders too close to a boundary or stops moving unexpectedly. This digital oversight is a powerful tool in the fight against poaching. On the ground, an elite and highly trained ranger force serves as the front line of defense. These dedicated men and women conduct daily patrols, often spending weeks at a time deep within the park. Their work is supported by a specialized K9 unit, whose dogs are trained to track poachers and detect illegal wildlife products like ivory and rhino horn. A helicopter provides aerial surveillance, offering a rapid response capability that can cover huge distances in minutes. This multi-layered security system has been incredibly effective, drastically reducing poaching incidents and making Akagera one of the safest parks in Africa. However, the most crucial element of Akagera's success lies beyond technology and patrols. It lies with the thriving wildlife populations. The park's management recognized that long-term conservation is impossible without ensuring the well-being of the animals that call it home. A revolutionary approach was established, focusing on the health and safety of the wildlife, which in turn supports the entire ecosystem. This focus has led to the flourishing of various species, creating a balanced and vibrant ecosystem. It has transformed the park into a sanctuary where predators and prey coexist in harmony. This animal-centric approach has turned Akagera into a haven for endangered species, ensuring their survival for future generations. The park has become a major hub for biodiversity, attracting researchers and conservationists from around the world. By directly linking the well-being of the wildlife with the prosperity of the people, Akagera has created a powerful and sustainable model for conservation. The communities are no longer just neighbors of the park. They are its proudest and most effective guardians. Together, they have forged a future where technology, community, and wildlife thrive in unison, ensuring Akagera remains a beacon of hope for conservation worldwide. Akagera National Park stands as a testament to nature's resilience, but its future is shaped by a complex web of challenges that demand constant innovation and vigilance. The park's guardians must remain ever watchful as threats to wildlife and habitat evolve with each passing year. The delicate balance between protection and adaptation is a daily struggle, requiring both expertise and unwavering commitment. Along Akagera's borders, the relentless expansion of farmland presses ever closer, fragmenting habitats and narrowing migration corridors for countless species. As Rwanda's population grows, the demand for arable land intensifies, placing immense strain on the park's boundaries. The encroachment not only reduces available habitat, but also disrupts ancient animal pathways, forcing wildlife into ever smaller refuges. The park's perimeter fence, while effective in reducing direct conflict, creates a hard boundary that challenges the natural movement of animals, sometimes leading to stress, injury, or isolation of key populations. Inside Akagera, the silent menace of poaching persists. Though large-scale operations have been curbed, the proliferation of wire snares remains a grave threat, indiscriminately maiming or killing any creature that stumbles upon them. These crude devices, often hidden beneath leaves or grass, are a constant hazard. From the smallest striker to the mightiest elephant, no animal is immune to their danger. The suffering caused by snares is often unseen, with many animals succumbing to infection or predation after being wounded. The ecological impact ripples through the food chain, weakening the resilience of entire populations. Ranger patrols work tirelessly, combing vast tracts of land to locate and remove these deadly traps. Their efforts are relentless, yet the battle is never truly won, as new snares appear with each passing week. Protecting Akagera's wildlife demands not only courage and endurance, but also sophisticated tracking, intelligence gathering, and rapid response to emerging threats. Beyond poaching and encroachment, Akagera faces the unpredictable forces of climate change. Shifting rainfall patterns bring both prolonged droughts and sudden floods, testing the adaptability of every species and straining the park's water resources. Water scarcity can drive animals to the brink, concentrating them at dwindling waterholes and increasing the risk of disease transmission, while flash floods can wash away nests, burrows, and fragile new growth. The spread of invasive plants such as lantana and prickly pear further threatens the park's biodiversity. These aggressive species outcompete native flora, reducing food availability and altering habitats critical for grazers and browsers. To confront these challenges, Akagera's management employs cutting-edge research and adaptive strategies, from monitoring animal movements with GPS collars to restoring native vegetation and mapping climate impacts. Every decision is guided by science and a deep understanding of the ecosystem. Despite these formidable obstacles, Akagera's wildlife endures. Herds of buffalo and impala flourish on rejuvenated plains, rhinos and elephants reclaim their ancestral ranges, and the wetlands pulse with new life. The park's transformation is a living testament to the power of restoration. Once degraded landscapes now teem with biodiversity, offering hope that even the most damaged ecosystems can recover with sustained effort. Akagera's animals have shown remarkable resilience, adapting to new challenges and reclaiming their place in the web of life. Their survival is a beacon of hope for conservationists worldwide. Akagera is more than a sanctuary. It is a symbol of what is possible when determination, science, and respect for nature come together. Its story inspires a vision for the future, one where protected areas serve as strongholds for biodiversity and as models for sustainable coexistence. The ongoing protection of Akagera is an investment in the planet's future, a commitment to safeguarding wild places, supporting resilient animal populations, and ensuring that the harmony between nature and humanity endures for generations to come. As the last rays of sunlight slip behind the rolling hills of Akagera, a profound transformation sweeps across the landscape. The world of daylight fades into shadow, and a new cast of players emerges, creatures perfectly adapted to thrive in darkness. This is the domain of Rwanda's nocturnal predators, where every sense is sharpened and every movement is a delicate dance between hunter and hunted. Under the cover of night, stealthy servals glide through tall grasses, their oversized ears swiveling to catch the faintest rustle of a rodent. With a sudden leap, a serval pounces, its success measured in silence and precision. Nearby, a civet slinks along a game trail, its masked face illuminated briefly by the moonlight. It pauses, nose twitching, as it sniffs out beetles and small reptiles hidden beneath fallen leaves. The night belongs also to the elusive leopard, Akagera's master of stealth. Cloaked in dappled shadows, the leopard moves with ghost-like grace, its spotted coat blending seamlessly with the undergrowth. It stalks impala at the water's edge, muscles coiled and eyes locked on its prey. In a burst of explosive power, the hunt begins and ends in moments, with the predator disappearing into the darkness, its prize held high in the branches of an acacia. On the open plains, spotted hyenas gather beneath the stars. Their eerie whoops echo across the savannah, signaling to clan members that a hunt is underway. With powerful jaws and relentless stamina, hyenas chase down weakened buffalo calves or scavenge the remains left by lions. Their social intelligence and teamwork ensure that little goes to waste in the night. Above, silent owls glide on broad wings, their flight nearly undetectable. With exceptional night vision and acute hearing, they swoop down on unsuspecting rodents, eyes flashing in the darkness. Meanwhile, African wildcats patrol the park's fringes, weaving through thorn thickets in search of birds roosting low in the branches. The night ecosystem is a world of heightened senses and constant vigilance. Prey species, too, have evolved to survive these hours of danger. Bush babies leap between trees, their large eyes reflecting the faintest moonlight, while scrub hares freeze in place, relying on stillness and camouflage to avoid detection. Every night an intricate web of interactions unfolds, predators refining their hunting strategies, prey sharpening their instincts for survival. The darkness is not merely an absence of light, it is a stage for the most ancient drama of all. Here in the secret hours, Rwanda's wild pulses with life, revealing a side rarely seen but vital to the park's enduring balance. As dawn approaches and the first birdsong pierces the silence, the nocturnal world retreats. The night's mysteries linger on the wind, hidden until darkness falls again over Akagera. Beneath the surface calm of Rwanda's wetlands, a complex tapestry of life is constantly at work, a web of connections as intricate as the reeds that fringe the water's edge. Here, every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, plays an essential role in the balance of this vibrant ecosystem. At dawn, shoals of tiny tilapia stir the shallow waters, feeding on drifting plankton and microscopic algae. Their constant grazing keeps the algae in check, ensuring sunlight penetrates the surface and nourishes aquatic plants below. These underwater meadows provide shelter for amphibians, frogs and toads, whose nightly chorus signals the health of the marsh. Their tadpoles, in turn, become food for agile kingfishers and stealthy water snakes. Above the water, papyrus stalks sway, offering refuge to weaver birds. With deft beaks, they twist and knot the reeds into elaborate hanging nests, safe from predators. The seeds and insects drawn to these clusters become vital sustenance for flocks of jacanas, lily-trotting birds whose long toes allow them to stride effortlessly across floating vegetation. Their eggs, nestled among leaves, attract monitor lizards and marsh mongooses, adding another layer to this delicate food web. Hippos graze silently at the water's edge, their massive bodies shaping the landscape. By churning mud and clearing channels, they create open pools where fish can spawn and aquatic plants can flourish. When hippos defecate in the water, their nutrient-rich waste fertilizes the wetland, feeding a bloom of invertebrates, shrimp, snails, and insect larvae. These in turn provide a banquet for wading birds, stately herons, secretive bitterns, and the unmistakable saddle-billed stork. Crocodiles, ancient sentinels of these waters, lurk in the shallows. Patient and still they await the approach of antelope or the careless descent of a thirsty bird. Yet even the apex predator is woven into the cycle. When crocodiles die, their remains nourish scavenging catfish and turtles, returning vital minerals to the food chain. In the trees, fruiting figs attract flocks of green pigeons and boisterous monkeys. As these animals feast, they scatter seeds far and wide, ensuring the regeneration of forests along the wetland margins. Meanwhile, dragonflies dart above the surface, their larvae preying on mosquito wrigglers below, helping to keep disease in check. Every interaction, predation, pollination, scavenging and seed dispersal, link species in a subtle but unbreakable chain. Remove one strand and the entire structure trembles. Yet, in the ever-shifting balance of the wetlands, resilience is born from diversity. As the sun climbs higher and the wetlands shimmer with life, it becomes clear. Survival here depends not on the strength of any single creature, but on the countless connections that bind them all. This is the web of life, fragile, complex, and utterly essential to the wild heart of Rwanda. As the rains return to Rwanda's wetlands, a silent signal passes through the wild. The land transforms. Lush green carpets sprawl where cracked earth once baked beneath the sun. This seasonal shift triggers one of nature's most remarkable spectacles, the migrations and survival strategies that define life in these wetlands. Along the flooded marshes, herds of topi and impala move in unison, following ancient routes etched into memory by generations before. Drawn by the promise of fresh grazing and abundant water, they navigate treacherous passages, crossing swollen rivers and weaving through dense reeds. Each step is fraught with risk. Lurking crocodiles and patient lions lie in wait, exploiting the narrow channels and cover of tall grasses. Above, the skies fill with movement. Clouds of white-winged terns and African openbills sweep in from distant shores, their arrival perfectly timed to coincide with hatching insect swarms and spawning fish. For these birds, the wetlands are both a seasonal refuge and a vital breeding ground. They nest in colonies, their calls a constant chorus, while agile bee-eaters and swallows dart after newly emerged dragonflies. Within the water itself, secret journeys unfold. Catfish and tilapia sense the rising currents, migrating upstream to spawn in sheltered pools. Their eggs will cling to submerged vegetation, hidden from hungry mouths, until the next generation is ready to swim free. For amphibians, the rains signal a frantic rush to breed. Frogs and toads gather in temporary ponds, their calls echoing through the night as they compete for mates and territory. But not all migrations are measured in distance. Some creatures must adapt in place. The African lungfish burrows deep into the mud as waters recede, encasing itself in a cocoon to survive months of drought in suspended animation. When the rains return, it emerges, ready to feed and breed once more. Others rely on camouflage and cunning. The sitatunga, a secretive antelope, melts into papyrus beds, its splayed hooves allowing it to walk atop floating vegetation. Here it evades predators and finds sanctuary, its movements dictated by water levels and the shifting mosaic of cover. These seasonal rhythms do more than shape individual destinies. They synchronize the entire ecosystem. The arrival of grazers trims tall grasses, opening space for new shoots and wildflowers. The influx of nesting birds brings nutrients from far-off lands, enriching the soil and feeding the next cycle of life. Predators, too, must adapt, their strategies changing as prey becomes scarce or abundant, their survival entwined with the pulse of the seasons. In this ever-changing world, timing is everything. To thrive here is to read the rhythms of rain and drought, to move when the land calls, and to wait when patience is the only refuge. Through migration, adaptation, and resilience, Rwanda's wildlife endures, each species a testament to the relentless drive for survival in a landscape defined by change. Beneath the towering papyrus and among the tangled roots of Rwanda's wetlands, a hidden world pulses with tireless activity. Here, the smallest inhabitants, often unseen, sometimes unheard, play roles of staggering importance, quietly upholding the balance of the ecosystem. At dawn, droplets of dew cling to the silk threads spun overnight by golden orb-weaver spiders. Their webs, strung between reeds, glisten in the first light, intricate snares for swarms of mosquitoes and midges. Each captured insect is a meal, each web a testament to the ongoing battle between predator and prey, a natural check that prevents any one species from overwhelming the marsh. On the muddy banks, armies of termites rise from their underground fortresses. With jaws like tiny saws, they break down dead wood and plant debris, transforming decay into fertile earth. Their tunnels aerate the soil, letting water and roots penetrate deeper, while their waste nourishes new growth. In doing so, termites become silent architects, reshaping the land from below. Above them, dung beetles roll their precious cargo, spheres of animal droppings, across the savannah. With strength far beyond their size, they bury this organic matter, recycling nutrients and reducing disease. Some species bury their treasures deep, providing food for their young and enriching the earth in the process. Without these tireless recyclers, the landscape would soon be choked with waste. Within the marsh, water boatmen and backswimmers glide under the surface, hunting mosquito larvae and keeping populations in check. Their presence, though easily overlooked, helps maintain a delicate equilibrium, one that echoes throughout the food chain. Further up the stalks, ants march in disciplined columns, tending to colonies of aphids and scale insects. In exchange for sweet honeydew, the ants provide protection, fending off predators and even pruning competing plants. This partnership, forged by necessity, shapes the very structure of the wetlands plant communities. Hovering just above the water, dragonflies perform aerial ballets, darting, spinning, and weaving as they snatch midges and gnats from the air. Their iridescent wings flash in the sunlight, each movement a precise calculation honed by millions of years of evolution. As both predator and prey, dragonflies link the world of insects to the greater web of life, feeding birds, frogs, and fish. Even the leaf litter teems with activity. Millipedes and earthworms burrow through the damp, decomposing layers, breaking down organic matter into its simplest forms. Their work releases nutrients, fueling the explosive growth that follows each rainy season. In this miniature metropolis, every creature, no matter how small, serves a purpose. They pollinate flowers, disperse seeds, control pests, and recycle life itself. Their collective labor sustains not just the wetlands, but everything that depends on them, from the smallest reed to the largest buffalo. So much of Rwanda's wild beauty is built on the backs of these unsung engineers. Though rarely seen, their presence is felt in every blade of grass, every ripple in the water, and every breath of life that stirs the wetlands. In the grand drama of survival, it is the smallest players who keep the stage set for all. Across Rwanda's wetlands and savannas, the rhythm of life is dictated by forces far greater than any single creature or clan. Here, climate and weather patterns sculpt the land, setting the tempo for every birth, migration, and hunt. As clouds gather on the horizon, the anticipation is palpable, not just among the animals, but in the very soil and water that sustain them. The annual rains arrive in sweeping torrents, flooding low-lying marshes and transforming dusty plains into shimmering, fertile lakes. In these moments, the wetlands breathe deeply. Rivers swell, their banks dissolving as fish and amphibians seize the opportunity to spawn. Frogs erupt in choruses, their calls amplified by the echoing storm. For countless species, these rains are a signal, a call to emerge, to breed, to feast. But abundance is always fleeting. When the rains retreat, a new challenge emerges. Water levels drop, exposing mudflats and shrinking pools. Hippos crowd together in the remaining water, while fish and amphibians seek refuge in the deepest channels. Birds gather at the receding edges, probing for stranded invertebrates. The land hardens and cracks, and every creature must adapt or move on. The patterns of rainfall are neither predictable nor uniform. In some years, the wet season lingers, nurturing a dense green canopy and overflowing rivers. In others, it falters, replaced by weeks of relentless sun. Prolonged droughts test the resilience of even the hardiest survivors. Grazers travel farther in search of water and fresh shoots, while predators follow close behind, drawn to the narrowing bands of life. Subtle shifts in temperature and humidity ripple through the ecosystem. A single degree of warming can alter the emergence of insects, the blooming of flowers, and the timing of migrations. Some species thrive in the new conditions, while others struggle to keep pace. The delicate synchrony between plants and pollinators, predator and prey, is tested with every change in the climate's mood. Storms, too, leave their mark. Lightning ignites fires that race across the savannah, clearing old grass and making way for new growth. In the aftermath, grazers return to feast on the tender shoots, and life begins its cycle anew. Yet, these natural resets can become disasters when compounded by shifting weather extremes, leaving habitats scarred and recovery slow. For Rwanda's wildlife, survival is a matter of adaptation. Some animals burrow deep or seek shade to escape the midday heat. Others time their breeding to match the brief flush of resources brought by rain. Plants develop waxy leaves and deep roots, clinging to moisture through the dry spells. Each strategy is a response to the ever-changing script written by the sky. In this land of contrasts, climate is both creator and destroyer, a force that demands respect, resilience, and ingenuity. As patterns shift in an era of global change, the future of these wild places hangs in the balance. The story of Rwanda's wetlands and savannas is, above all, a story of adaptation, where every living thing must read the weather and evolve, or risk fading into memory. Beneath the shimmering surfaces of Rwanda's rivers and lakes lies a world few ever witness. A realm where sunlight filters through green water and every current carries the secrets of survival. Here, the drama of life unfolds in silence, among swaying reeds, submerged roots, and tangled mats of aquatic plants. In these hidden depths, fish glide effortlessly, weaving through labyrinthine channels. Cichlids, adorned in bursts of blue and gold, stake out territories among rocky outcrops, their fins fanning the sand to reveal hidden morsels. Catfish drift along the silted bottom, their sensitive barbels probing for prey in the murk. Tiny schools of minnows shimmer in unison, forming living clouds that dart and scatter at the shadow of a passing predator. Amphibians, too, reign supreme in this liquid world. African clawed frogs lurk among the reeds, their mottled skin blending perfectly with the dappled light. At night, they rise to the surface, gulping air before vanishing again into the cool embrace of the water. Tadpoles writhe in the shallows, feeding on algae and detritus, each a promise of transformation and metamorphosis. Every crevice and cavity teems with life. Crustaceans scuttle through submerged leaf litter, while snails graze on the delicate film of algae coating every stone. Insect larvae, mayflies, dragonflies, and beetles cling to stems and rocks, patiently awaiting their turn to ascend into the world above. The balance here is delicate, maintained by unseen cycles. Plants oxygenate the water, their roots anchoring the riverbanks and filtering silt. Decomposers break down fallen leaves, recycling nutrients that sustain the entire food web. Even the gentle rise and fall of water levels shapes the destiny of these underwater communities, dictating when fish spawn, when eggs are laid, and when the next generation will emerge. Predators lurk in the shadows. Pike-like tigerfish patrol the open channels, their jaws lined with needle-sharp teeth. Ambush predators, like the African knifefish, lie motionless in weedy thickets, waiting for the unsuspecting to stray too close. The struggle for survival here is swift and silent, a never-ending dance of pursuit and evasion. As seasons shift above, so too does life below. Floodwaters bring new nutrients and open up fresh breeding grounds, while the dry season forces aquatic residents to retreat into shrinking pools and deeper channels. Some fish burrow into the mud, waiting for the rains to return. Others migrate upstream, following ancient instincts that have guided their kind for millennia. This submerged world is as vital and intricate as the landscapes above. It is the beating heart of Rwanda's wetlands and rivers, supporting countless species and sustaining the cycles of life that ripple outward to every corner of the ecosystem. To truly understand these wild places, one must look beneath the surface, where the hidden aquatic worlds reveal their wonders in silence, and every breath, every ripple, is a testament to the resilience of life. Across the sweeping grasslands, tangled forests, and shimmering wetlands of Rwanda, a silent contest plays out each day. A contest where survival is won not by strength, but by cunning, speed, and unity. Prey animals, ever vigilant, have honed a dazzling array of tactics to outwit the predators that stalk them. In the tall savanna grasses, impalas freeze at the faintest rustle, their tawny coats blending seamlessly with the golden blades. If danger draws near, they explode into a blur of motion, leaping high in graceful arcs, each bound unpredictable, a living zigzag that confounds pursuit. The secret is not just in their speed, but in their erratic patterns, making it nearly impossible for a predator to anticipate their next move. Warthogs, squat and bristled, rely on both camouflage and their keen memory of escape routes. When alarmed, they dash for the nearest burrow, tails held high as flags for their piglets to follow. The entrance, hidden among roots and rocks, becomes a fortress, and the family disappears underground in a heartbeat. In the wetlands, the Sitatunga antelope dissolves into the reeds, its shaggy coat mirroring the shifting shadows. With splayed hooves designed for marshy ground, it slips silently through water and mud, vanishing before a crocodile or lion can close in. Even the young know to crouch low, motionless, trusting their mottled camouflage to shield them from sharp eyes above. Bird flocks take to the skies in coordinated bursts, starlings and weavers moving as one, their synchronized flight a dizzying spectacle that confuses would-be attackers. On the ground, zebras band together, their stripes merging into a living mural. To a predator, the mass of shifting lines makes it nearly impossible to single out a target. Water-dwelling prey, like tilapia and minnows, rely on numbers for safety. In an instant, a school will pivot as one, splitting and reforming with breathtaking precision, evading the lunges of a hunting bird or the jaws of a lurking fish. Even the smallest residents employ ingenious strategies. Reed frogs, no bigger than a thumb, shift their skin color to match the swaying stems. When threatened, they hurl themselves into the water, vanishing beneath a scatter of ripples. Insects mimic leaves, twigs, or even the glint of dew, remaining invisible to the sharp gaze of birds and fish alike. Every moment in these wild places is a test, a race between life and death, played out in silence and shadow. Through camouflage, speed, and the power of many, Rwanda's prey animals have mastered the art of evasion, ensuring that the dance of survival continues day after day across this untamed land. Beneath the drama of predator and prey, an ancient silent force shapes every life in Rwanda's wilderness, the plant kingdom. From the sun-drenched savannas to the misty wetlands, a tapestry of unique and resilient flora forms the backbone of this ecosystem, supporting every creature that calls these wild places home. Towering acacia trees, their umbrella canopies casting precious shade, anchor the grasslands. Their feathery leaves and nutrient-rich pods feed giraffes, elephants, and antelope, while their thorny branches offer nesting sites for weaver birds and protection for insects. In the wetland margins, papyrus reeds rise in dense green walls, filtering the water and creating a haven for birds, amphibians, and fish. Their tangled roots stabilize riverbanks, preventing erosion and maintaining the purity of the waterways that sustain the entire region. Grasses, tough, drought-resistant, and endlessly renewing, form the primary menu for grazers like zebra, buffalo, and impala. Their rapid regrowth after grazing or fire ensures a constant food supply, while the seeds nourish countless small mammals and birds. Interspersed among the grasses, wildflowers bloom in bursts of color, attracting pollinators from bees to sunbirds and seeding the next generation of plants. In the forests, ancient fig trees serve as living larders. Their fruit ripens in cycles, providing a year-round feast for monkeys, birds, and even large mammals like bush pigs. The fig's sprawling branches become aerial highways for colobus monkeys and chameleons, while their deep roots draw up water, sustaining the forest during dry spells. On the forest floor, ferns and mosses create a moist microclimate, sheltering amphibians and invertebrates. Lianas and vines weave through the canopy, connecting trees and offering safe passage for small creatures. Even fallen logs play a vital role, decomposing into rich soil and feeding a new generation of plants. Every leaf, stem, and root is woven into the intricate web of life. Plants offer food, shelter, and sanctuary, shaping the behavior and survival of animals at every level. Without the silent work of these green architects, the spectacle of Rwanda's wildlife would fade, a reminder that in the wild it is the smallest, quietest forces that sustain the greatest dramas. When the rains falter and the rivers shrink, Rwanda's wild heart is tested in its harshest season. Drought arrives not with a roar, but as a creeping silence, a relentless heat that parches the land and withers the green tapestry that sustains life. Waterholes, once bustling with life, recede into muddy remnants. Hippos jostle for space in shrinking pools, their skin caked in drying mud to shield against the blazing sun. Crocodiles lie motionless on cracked banks, conserving precious energy, their predatory patience stretched thin by thirst. Across the Savannah, the golden grasses turn brittle, snapping under the hooves of desperate grazers. Zebra and impala trek for miles in search of a single patch of green, their herds thinning as the weakest fall behind. Elephants, the giants of the wilderness, dig with their tusks at the beds of vanished streams, unearthing hidden pockets of moisture that offer a lifeline to calves and elders alike. In the wetlands, papyrus reeds wilt, their emerald walls thinning. Fish cluster in ever smaller pools, easy prey for herons and storks, while amphibians burrow deep into the mud, entering a state of torpor to wait out the dry months. Birds, once abundant, scatter in search of distant water, their calls growing fainter with each passing day. Predators, too, feel the strain. Lions and leopards stalk weakened prey under the relentless sun, but every hunt is a gamble. Exertion risks deadly dehydration. Packs of wild dogs follow the scent of water, guiding their pups through a landscape growing more unforgiving with every sunrise. Yet, even in the grip of drought, life adapts. Acacia trees shed leaves to conserve water, standing as silent sentinels over the parched earth. Some animals, like the tenacious oribi, feed on dew-laden spiderwebs at dawn, wringing sustenance from the barest trace of moisture. Tortoises retreat into their shells, slowing their heartbeat to endure long stretches without a drink. The struggle for water weaves every creature together in a fragile pact of survival. In these testing times, the true resilience of Rwanda's wildlife emerges, not in the roar of the predator or the stampede of the herd, but in the quiet persistence to endure, adapt, and hope for the return of the rain. When the clouds finally gather and the first drops fall, the land remembers. Seeds buried in dust burst to life. Rivers swell and dance across the plains, and the wild, having survived the crucible of drought, rises once more in a chorus of renewal. The dawn of a new era glimmers on Rwanda's wild horizon, a future forged not only through survival but through innovation and adaptation. As climate patterns shift and ancient rhythms falter, the animals and ecosystems of Rwanda's wetlands and savannas are writing their own stories of resilience in real time. Across the wetlands, the shoebill stork adjusts its nesting cycles, synchronizing with the unpredictable ebb and flow of rising waters. Fish species, once reliant on seasonal floods, now spawn in smaller, man-made channels, corridors carefully restored to mimic the lost rivers of the past. Papyrus swamps, once threatened by encroachment, regenerate as old channels are reopened, allowing water to breathe new life into these emerald lungs. In the open grasslands, herds of antelope and zebra graze across newly restored corridors, their movements guided by subtle fencing and natural barriers that protect both wildlife and fragile soils. Elephants, the silent architects of change, shape the landscape by forging new waterholes, their ancient wisdom harnessed by conservationists who learn from every tusk-marked trail. Innovation pulses beneath the surface. Artificial wetlands filter runoff and purify water, creating havens for amphibians and insects, nature's smallest engineers. Biologists deploy floating islands, woven from native reeds, to shelter fish fry and water birds from predators and pollution. Even the elusive pangolin, once on the brink, finds sanctuary in carefully monitored reserves, its survival a testament to the power of science and adaptation. Predators, too, adapt. Lions and leopards adjust their hunting grounds as prey patterns shift, while wild dogs learn new routes across protected corridors, their journeys tracked by solar-powered tags that send data to conservationists in real time. This invisible web of knowledge allows wildlife to move safely, unseen and undisturbed by the world beyond. Restoration is not a single act, but a living tapestry, woven from seeds scattered by the wind, roots that bind the soil, and the endless improvisation of wild creatures. As native trees reclaim barren patches, birds return. Their calls a signal that balance is being restored. Insects pollinate, fungi break down decay, and the cycle of life spins anew. The future of Rwanda's wilderness is not a return to what once was, but a leap toward what can be, an evolving alliance of species, habitats, and innovative solutions. Here, hope is not an abstract promise. It is a daily act, written in the tracks of a buffalo, the flight of a bee, and the gentle rise of green after the rain. In this living laboratory, the wild endures, adapting, restoring, and thriving. And as the sun sets over Akagera and the wetlands beyond, the promise of tomorrow's wilderness is as limitless as the horizon itself.